So we talk about debt, yes, tax pot, different things like that, yes?
Yeah.
I think people hate it when I say things like this, but I don't know, it's just where I'm at with it, right? So we got a lot of CEOs, yes?
Yeah.
On companies.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use saffron as the example, okay? Because I feel that it should be used this way. So, you know that they've got CEOs that sit at the top of these housing associations or different things and assets and different things. Why not remove the CEO from it, yes?
Yeah.
Because after all, wasn't these council houses built with taxpayers' money?
Yeah.
So tax money built houses, yes? So all of this was built by taxpayers' money, yes? They built the houses. And then the profit, yes?
Yeah.
The profits that now come off of this because they sold them on, which, should they have sold them on is probably a better question, isn't it? Should the council have sold on council houses?
No, I don't think so.
So, should council houses have been sold? Or should the council houses have, rather than a CEO, have gone back into the tax pot?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that we did wrong here in this country was sell on council houses to individuals that then make CEOs that sit at the top from tax money, which then, I don't know who sold on the council houses. I should really look that up.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess it's Conservatives.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lay money on it. I don't know for 100%. So who sold council houses? I think is the best question. What political party was in when the council houses got sold? It doesn't actually say. Conservative.
Yeah.
So that would have, what would it have done? So the money would have been trickling in at a pace, yes?
Yeah.
Then they would have been sold and would have plummeted. It would have gone up, but it would have been an illusion because now there would be nothing in the pot, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the situation that we got with Tories versus Labour, yes? Tories sell everything on and it's for the honeymoon period, yeah? It is literally a honeymoon period because what was coming in didn't quite, it was little and often, yes?
Yeah.
That then could go on to do lots of other things if it went correctly into the tax pot. And then when you sell it on to places like saffron and different things like that, have we not noticed an absolute shocking decline and a rise in homes that are just not looked after? Not only is it homes that are not looked after, they're mouldy, they're damp, they don't do the repairs properly, the things are falling apart, they've got leaks, they're just absolute misery to most people. And you know, some of them are not even, we'll get onto that one in another one. So I think Tories would then sell it, which you then see this rise, yes?
Yeah.
But what you fail to understand is it's the fall that is a lot more harder because although on a graph you would get this steady income coming in, yes?
Yeah.
Then you would see it rise
Yeah.
and then it would fall
Yeah.
and flatline. So something and then nothing. And then providing on what that money was then spent on, whether it was a silly adventure, something stupid that came out of it and it didn't take off, you're now left with nothing.
Yeah.
Then you deplete the tax pot, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
And then Labour have to come in and break the backs off people and then say, well, what else can we be left with to do? Well, we got to rise the tax pot. We got to rise taxes in order to cover this.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that there should be like, you know, if you're going to have a king or queen,
Mm-hmm.
they should look after this stuff so that the public don't get affected in that. After all, it is a kingdom, yes? And that, the
Yeah.
principle of being a king is to reign in the kingdom, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So if they were to hold on to the assets and say, no sale,
Yeah.
no sale on these things, houses, this, or this. There will be no sale. And
Yeah.
the money from that goes to the gov
Yeah.
via this way to protect the people
Mm-hmm.
or to protect the gov in a long run situation, yes? That once something is made and put over into the tax pot, no CEO, no this, no that, yes, workers, but other than that, nothing else. Nothing else at all. And the money that comes into that goes into this. So that we don't get this steady rise and then plummet
Yeah.
and then empty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? And as a king to protect the kingdom and the interest of .gov, I think that should be then made illegal, that without a vote from the people to ask them whether they should be allowed to sell those. And then you could say, well, what about the people that then want to buy their council house?
Yeah.
Well, who technically does buy their council house if there are this many houses in housing associations that are divided up around the country? There are really rich CEOs with a ton of profit. And at the end of the day, what do they put back into these houses? I mean, they've got the Housing Act, 1988, I think, yes?
Yeah.
Probably been readdressed many other times. But still, the principle of the Housing Act, 1988, is it literally, are they ignoring that act? If they let a house under XYZ conditions and they hide it so they can then try and play the game of, well, you didn't tell us about it. Well, perhaps because individuals are not educated to know that stuff, they find it at this spoon drip level. And when they do begin to find it, it's been so well hidden because they've spent all this money to hide it, these housing associations.
Yeah.
And then you become a question of whether you have complied to the Housing Act. And then this should become a question of .gov, which would mean then council, then would have to get involved to do something about that.
Yeah.
But you've been in the house for this long, so it could have happened whilst you were in the house. That's bollocks. That's absolute rubbish. So the question should be, should you be allowed to sell it? Should you be allowed to sell it? And then what should the new thing be then? What, to build affordable housing that's affordable, it's good enough, and the rent, no CEO. Because the CEO and run by AI. And then subcontractors. Because subcontractors make jobs.
Yeah.
And not only jobs, but small businesses, yes? That's what it makes, is small businesses. Not really sure, but still, you get what I mean. This makes small businesses, which probably some of the people will rent from these places.
Yeah.
Gives you small businesses, subcontractors, which small jobs, people can have this, but then get functioned in by a AI, no staff, which you could say is counterproductive, but it ain't, because it gives you a purpose in life to the people who are wanting to do something and not want to cut corners, and they do want to do a good job, and they're passionate about their small business because it functions on things called rent or livelihood. And I think this gives more options to go to more different people to get these jobs done.
Yeah.
No CEO that sits there and gets paid an awful lot of money just to hide up their mistakes. I think that this should be a thing of the past, to be honest. I really do. And all of that rent that is left over, and we'll talk about profit, yes? Goes back into the tax pot. Which then gives you a choice of A, build more houses, Yes?
Yeah.
And we could say B, wait, terrible, I tried to fix my C then. Or B, fix them.
Yeah.
So you get to fix the houses, build houses, new houses, yes? And C, this goes back into the tax pot for new projects.
Yeah.
Or D, it goes towards debt. And it begins to start bringing down our debts, which work better on for anybody else. And then, you know, this should be a new way of going. And why? Well, because AI, it reflects on rent, and it's a smaller amount of rent compared to anything else. Houses get fixed, so they do get their fixes.
Yeah.
They also are good for small businesses, which is everyday people
Yeah.
that are working, perhaps want to step away from the whole, I'm in this. Some people like that,
Yeah.
you know, but other people want to just go out and venture on their own. This gives great, because you get a lot of subcontractors. Individuals that are good at pest control, and the AI just, you know, whoever, it doesn't matter. Go
Yeah.
to this person, or this person. Who's the soonest?
Yeah.
I can do the 10th, I can do the 30th,
Yeah.
I can do the 1st of next month. Well, you're the closest, you're the quickest based on your review, this address that you need to go to, fix this one. No thank you, no thank you. And then next time, this company is quicker at getting the job lot done. There's no favoritism. There's no, this person that works at the company, well, my son does rodent control. How about you go get him?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you go get this person? How about you go get that person? How about we'll do it? This person will do it. Oh, I've gotten friends with this person. And then they keep their friends in who, more often than not, don't really care. Why do they not care? Why are they not passionate? Well, because it's my friend.
Yeah, and because
And
I
they will
always get
always
the
come
job.
to me
Yeah.
because, you know, we're buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, it's bros before anything else.
Yeah.
Bro before stranger. Nah, I can't do it this time. Okay, well, then we'll get a subcontractor. And then, you know, and then CEO, what is the point of a CEO to sit at the top of a company that is running into the ground? Well, clearly, then you're no good as a CEO, would I say? I dare to say. And then this stops this whole pinwheel of, let's say, you know, what will the council need to do in those situations? Well, not a lot really. Then that frees up a department that can then move on to something else, right?
Yeah.
And perhaps you could still have environmental health, but they're more freed up to go and do other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're more freed up to go and look at other stuff, the more bigger stuff to be sweating, knowing that this is okay. And if there is an issue with the AI, then they are quick on fire to go and see what's what. No favoritism, no this. First come, first serve, based on reviews. AI finds you, books in the appointment. You write back to AI. It gives you a brand new system, which then there's more coders, more programmers, more systems to be integrated. And I think even the payment can be done like this. Person, are you happy? Yes, I am. No, the job's not complete yet. Okay, right, we'll go back to this person, or if not, we'll go to the next person. Part payment for you for your services so far, but this person is now sooner. We'll get this one finished off because we want the tenant to be happy as possible where we can.
Yeah.
And we get these really good houses, good reviews, good this, good that, and then everyone's kind of happy in that situation. Here we got to deal with corporations that have got friends and more friends in there and family in there, and my opinion is they just don't give a shit. Look at the numbers. Look at the many different houses that are in disrepair. Look at that. Look at that. Tell me whether you're proud of that. And then look at some of the counties here that have got no people in these houses. None at all. Because the whole situation is all falling apart. Why? Well, because environmental health now have to deal with this, and they can't deal with antisocial behaviour. They can't deal with this because they can't stretch enough, because they can't do this, because they haven't got enough funds, but they haven't got this. We wouldn't be in this whole mess if this was a new system that we had. We wouldn't be in it. Then the council are getting slack and flack for all of this sort of stuff. When really, are they really in it? Or are they a separate force to this sort of situation? Because CEOs are like, everyone blames council anyway. It's the government. Look, it's them. And everyone's firing at them and then remembering this when it comes for election, which then goes to central government. And then everyone is just being left with this sort of, and everyone's feeling the burden from this. And it seems like conservative, although not all of you. You just want to sell everything off.
Yeah.
Sell it, sell it, sell it. CEO over there. See, I made you a rich bastard. Look, I made you one as well. No, I don't think that should be right. I think that's wrong. That's very wrong. And then you sell it off so that you've got friends in the community who are well paid but couldn't give a shit. Quite happy to sit there and take in all the money, but when it comes to acting or do something, and then what CEO is actually going to stand up and go, yes, my company is shit. It is failing in these areas. Look, please. They don't give a shit. They don't care enough to get into the company to go, right, what the hell is going on here? Not all of them, but most of them. Most of them don't care. What's going on here? Why is this, and this? Half of them are unavailable. How do you ever get hold of them? Hey, by the way, your managers are acting up.
Yeah.
Well, it's all right. I pay insurance. You can just sue me. I don't really give a shit. And then this is sad because there are people out in the world that really would look after a company such as this one and lead it with absolute integrity and all the rest of it and make quite a nice situation for individuals. That's why I say some. But there are a large margin of individuals who just let it down for the majority. A few rotten apples, but quite a few of them, and we get more. And then you got to ask yourself whether trains should be sold.
Yeah.
Whether the bus companies should be sold. Whether houses should be sold. Do you know the one big thing about tax right now? Do you know what the issue is with it? I think this is very clear, right, to be honest?
Yeah.
You've got one government in that want to do all good things with tax, and then, you know, they make these rules and pull out these great things that then start to put money into the tax pot.
Yeah.
Yes, in profit.
Mm-hmm.
And you then have what? A few tax pot. Then you get a few businesses to get in, yeah?
Yeah.
A few business chums and more business minded and all the rest of that bollocks, right? And all they give a shit about is their friends.
Mm-hmm.
All they care about is their friends. And they want to make them millionaires. And then all of these things that have been put in by one particular government, they just go, wipe, sell it. Wipe, sell it. Wipe, sell it. And then they say, oh, look at how much our numbers in our country are going up. Look, see, we managed to get you. It's short-lived. And then when it starts to crash down, because where there was a steady flow of income, not billions, trillions, or all the rest, like all now. No, they get this massive rise because they sold everything.
Yeah.
And this is then what? The steady flow of like income, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed income.
Yeah.
And they've sold it.
Yeah.
And then it's, oh, everything's booming. Look at that. It's higher than it's ever been before. Oh, look at me. I can bullshit all day. Look. Oh. Do you hear it all coming out my mouth?
Yes.
Whereas before that, people forget that it was steady. People love steady. But also, everyone, we are all easily deceived and tricked if we don't know the full facts. And the facts is, this was all sold.
Yeah.
Honeymoon period, right? It's all great right here. Don't want to give honeymoons and weddings and marriage a bad name, but still, everyone gets the expression. Now we're beyond the honeymoon period now. Oh my days. What's this called? Crash.
Yeah. There's nothing left.
There's nothing left. There's nothing coming in anymore. And then who gets the blame for that? Well, clearly not the party that fucking sold it all, right? They got the glorious look. We remember when it was conservative, the country was, and you know, vice versa. Anyone can sell this all on. And then this is what happens. This is what causes this shit. Everyone's now being taxed through the arsehole. And it's... people then start blaming, oh, it must be you, it must be this, it must be that. And then you want to know how you get in debt. Mm-hmm. Well, you were paying things with this money. You were paying your debts, keeping inflation down and everything else. You were paying. What were you paying? Well, your debt, for one thing.
Yeah.
And then your debts become down. And then, whoa, what about now? Do you not think that if you've now got no money in the pot to pay your debts, they don't grow?
Yes, they do.
And then they use this as a way to say, oh, look at this company here. Look at the L's. Look at the cons. Look at the labs. Look at the cons. Look at the labs. Look at the...
Yeah.
So no. In in ours, we should, we have some sort of level of independence, right? We did. But again, I think that got moved out of the way, yeah?
Yeah.
Our version of whatever that is. But don't you think that our independence that we have, no, the state of independence, we don't have the same as in America, but we used to have the Magna Carta, yes?
Yeah, Magna Carta.
Do you think if that was still in existence, which it isn't, but the king is now in existence, yes?
Yeah.
Don't you think that the king should sit on top of these assets and goes, no fucking way, none of you are selling them. It's staying here. Look at what happened last time. You nearly bankrupted our whole entire country for this.
Yeah.
There's no way you're selling this stuff at all. And as much as this kingdom survives, we will not let you. And then you watch all the people get behind the royal family. You watch. Everyone will protect them because they're protecting you. So, with the new houses, council houses that are being built, there should be no way that they should be sold on for the trickling money. And what's great about this money is, I have never taken an economics class or whatever, and perhaps it shows, right? But you can't kid me on this, that when I look at houses that were £450 and now they're at 1,200 quid per month.
Yeah.
And these estate agents are making some shiny ping, yeah? They are making some pennies and a half, right?
Yeah.
They're driving around in freaking Chryslers, personalised number plates, all this sort of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are living the life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wouldn't it be great if our government could do the same freaking thing, yes? Because they protected it from ever being sold.
Yeah.
But if you get a government in that then walk back on a treaty, that then walk back on their promises, and then decide to go, now we're not actually doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And there ain't shit all you can do about it, then that would be very dangerous for your economy. And sure, you would have the honeymoon period. Oh, it will grow for a bit. Oh, yeah, look at that boom. 3 years later, that boom, gone.
Gone, yeah. It is, isn't it?
And now what you're suffering with? The consequences. And what are the consequences? Even higher rents, houses that are horrible. And then this seems like it's their plan because then it pushes people into the private sector.
Yeah.
And then the private sector are like, oh, you've made us some really good money here.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
let's
you,
rise
friends.
it. Let's put it
Oh,
up.
we can put it up even more now because they don't want to live in these shitholes. We'll go back and live in these ones, in ours, Terrible. Terrible. And then I ask, should these things ever be allowed to be touched? And it shouldn't be protected by a law because laws can come and go. Whenever anyone feels like it, they can make the law and then remove it.
Yeah.
We don't want that law anymore. Bugger that one. And should that be acceptable? We need something stronger than a law to protect this. Because what would happen if they'd have kept hold of council houses? Well, the money that was coming in was this much. 5 years later, it's now this much. Because of inflation, right? The rent goes up, this goes up. And then this. But what we got now? Nothing. Fuck all. Whereas you did have what? Let's say 30%, 60%, 90%. Because everything's going to be going up, yes? Everything seems to be going up. And you could be driving around rather than in Chryslers, but have the very best of the NHS that then starts to pay for itself from this stuff. And I mean, what? And it's also with trains, it's also with this. We need something that's more stronger than a law. Laws seem to be so yesterday. We need something more unbreakable. One that cannot be broke. And should it go to a vote to the people, or should it be protected by a king?
Yeah.
That we trust you to look after this stuff. Like you trust us to look after you.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah, we pay taxes to the country, not to some private companies.
Yeah, not for private companies to get their claws in it and then destroy it.
Yeah.
Literally destroy it. Sell it on to this person, that person, and it's okay either way because when the other government get in and it goes back to them, they will struggle and collapse anyway. Because the people will be so angry at them because they had to find this much money. Well, no kidding that you had to plug a gap. This is my guess. I have no information on this whatsoever. It's just my guess that Conservatives sold a load of stuff and this is the fallout for it. This is what we're all walking through. And COVID didn't help, sure. But I think it's not COVID, it's this. It's conservatives, where they sell all of the stuff. And I don't think it should be allowed to be sold. I think it should be governed by the king and queen. Or if you've got an independence, should it be in the constitution and not changed to protect the people?
Mm-hmm.
Which then moves me on to the next one, right? So, along with a lot of these companies that I've got, yes, that I haven't got or built anything. I just write things out in ideas, yes?
Yeah.
But should all of these companies, rather than pay me to sit at the top, I'll happily walk away from it. But rather than a CEO, can you put it in the tax pot? Can you put those companies that I build? Yes, by all means, get staff. Get staff. Pay them. Nice. But that CEO wage, put it in the tax pot. If you start getting down debt, national debt,
Mm-hmm.
once that's done with, move it onto the NHS. Move it onto the dentists. You've got a space endeavour that you need to go and do, move it into space. Move it onto something else. That money that comes in from whatever that company is. So let's say this with the one with the water system where you're collecting all of this rainwater and different stuff like that, yes?
Yeah.
What about if you charge everyone slightly less than what the water company was to flush this rainwater down the toilet safely, cleanly, and all the rest of it, yes?
Mm-hmm.
If you charge people half of what water companies do, yes?
Yeah.
Half of it.
Mm-hmm.
All the money for that goes into the tax pot.
Yeah.
For what? For whatever it is that you need it for. Any company, name it, Tivas, any of them. Can all of these companies then be protected that nobody can sell it, ever. None of them. None of them can be sold, and they can't have a CEO. They can have decent wages for staffs, but the majority of that money in profit terms, once it's finished paying for the very thing that got created, goes back into that tax pot. And I don't care what government it is that is on that has been voted in. Well, if there's free money from that, they get the money, but they do not get the asset itself at all. It stays in public, I don't know about domain. Either we get something new set up and I think that that's wasteful, or we say, King, can this be your new role? You protect all of this, and this will protect you. This be your job, if you want it. This be your job to protect the people inside your country, your kingdom. All of these companies stay with you. And the profits that go into that, you then hand out to the .gov. However, if the NHS is on the teetering of collapse, that money goes straight over to there and you have the all power to override that. The power to override whether that goes into the NHS. So that people, where you get eventually, it goes for good wages for doctors. It goes for better medicine.
Yeah.
Gee, me, if this was already in invention, this whole system, this new system, and COVID came around,
Yeah.
you'd have aced it. Because you'd have moved it from these areas where it was then beginning to put... And anything else with this money, tax pot, whatever it may be, that then builds another invention, it then goes into that pot as well. Then this, no CEO, but it goes into that. And you could say that then that's owned by this, and this. Well, not really. Not really, because I think to do your public service,
Yeah.
that I think that you would want to do that. You can get a managerial job in the company yourself, and you can be quite fed by that. I think that you can get more than enough from that. I just don't get it that the CEO would make so much money out of that when it would be far more better spent going into the tax pot, because then more mouths get fed, more individuals are then protected, more individuals then might have a shot at getting their teeth fixed. And then if there is even more left over, and we're running out of things to even spend this on, because eventually it will begin. When one person does this, more people will follow. And I know that doesn't sit very well with most of the companies that stand today. But I can guarantee you that anybody that bought this product would know that they are putting more than their money's worth back into the tax pot. You are now living to support the pot. And then government could be like, well, we've got this idea that we would like to try. Okay, then it goes towards getting a better election. Why? Because of your brains. Because of your idea that you've got could potentially work, and there's money in this pot to potentially fund it. Wouldn't it be nice to have new leaders that come out and say, we're going to space, we're going to do this, we're going to mine Europa, we're going to mine this, we're going here, we're building this, we're making that. And then rather than being voted in based on popularity, they're being voted in on that guiding star of theirs, their ideas, their power of their ideas. And then more people can then get a shot at this. All protected by the crown. Here it would be protected by the crown. No one can sell any of the old stuff on. It stays in the pot that then goes back into the country. Yeah. That starts developing parts of our nation that are... It's sad to say that there are housing blocks and different things, right, where they've gone so bad in disrepair. Yeah. People have moved away from these areas and nobody lives there. No one. Why? Because they fell apart, they smell bad, there's bad stuff there. No one wants to live. And I'm not going to hide that because it's a part of the United Kingdom and say, oh, you're bad-mouthing your own country. No, I am not. I'd like to see that flourish. Yeah. But then they would say, there's no money. So stage one would be making these new companies that have no CEO, no top corporates, because once the idea is there and it's being built, it should be stuck into this. If I build a mobile phone and computer and different things like that, the profits need to go in this pot. Why? Because I'm doing this not just for my children, but for your children and everybody else's children that will walk after us. Because we said at this time that none of them are going to have a bad day like we had. They're going to worry about other stuff. Sure they are. But at least they're not going to worry about the very basic necessities. Good teeth, good health, good education, great qualifications, job experiences, and a better shot to have money in a pot to start an idea that then, you never know, might catapult humanity even further. And then, if with this type of a system, we begin to outrun the star itself. We begin to outrun the solar system. We begin to outrun the universe with this. Yeah. To factor it into my pocket, I don't want it. Why? Well, what's good if I'm just happy? Oh, okay, it's made me well off and this, that, and the other. I'm happy, and I'm... No! What? How can I be happy when I see other people who are in the past pot that I was in? And they don't seem very happy to me. And my happiness comes from seeing other people smile. And if I can feel happy and they feel happy, I'm happy. Because then there's a mutual. What's the point in being the only person smiling around a bunch of people who are miserable for reasons that are out of their... No. For me, that's not it. That's an old way, I think, that has served a purpose to get to the point now. And now that it's... Because I think if we don't do it, what? Are we going to have another empire collapse? And then what? Then we're dialed back again? Yeah. Because whilst everyone's got to refix and find something new and an alternate, and it's always the people at the bottom that then get crushed in that. And then everyone's got to plan something new and find their feet, and then this takes X amount of time to happen. What is that? There, you notice that, like, the Egyptian Empire comes about, everyone's going towards something, and then it falls down, and then people go off over in this direction. But it's so many blank lines in history that it just wasn't... Oh my... How many more times do we have to go through a situation like this? I think it's just waste of time. And then when you're in this middle of transitioning, oh, there might be something come from space somewhere, and it catches you off guard, and then brings you. I just run with what you got is what I look at. So, and then these companies begin to and then people will be like, well, there won't be anything else for. It's water. Everybody needs water. It's food. Everybody's going to need food. And it's this. Well, everybody's going to need this stuff. This stuff is going to need to be taken care of. Well, what about the waste products? Yes, exactly. So we learn to do this, this, and this, and we put it into there. It doesn't go into a pocket because these things are needed, necessity. This is what it helps you live, helps you breathe, helps you do that. You need it. Without it, and then everything else around there is fair game. It's very therapeutic to get doing some art and different things like that, and have some money in your pocket to probably be able to get some of this nice little stuff. Wonderful. Made from recyclable stuff, biodegradable, XYZ. And, it just gets more bright sparks in government, really, doesn't it? To actually use their brains, use your brains so that we all are safeguarded from any major catastrophe, disaster. And we are all safeguarded then. Every single one of us. I think it should be this way. But it's just a thought. Gonna leave it here.